It was supposed to be a relaxed morning chat, a light-hearted interview promoting Sir Ben Kingsley's latest film on Lorraine. But what began as polite conversation quickly spiraled into one of the most awkward and tense moments in British daytime TV history. The legendary actor, known for his commanding presence and Oscar-winning performance in Gandhi, appeared on Lorraine Kelly's show to discuss his new psychological thriller. The studio was bright, the mood cheerful, and the crew expected nothing but another smooth segment. Lorraine greeted him warmly. "Sir Ben, it's such an honor to have you with us again." Ben smiled slightly, but there was something guarded in his expression. He adjusted his jacket and replied, "Thank you, Lorraine. I'm here to talk about the film, nothing else." That last remark caught her off guard. Of course, she laughed lightly, "Though our viewers always love hearing about your experiences, especially working with so many icons over the years." Ben's face stiffened. "I'd prefer if we kept it to the present. The past has been discussed enough." Still, Lorraine, ever the seasoned host, tried to keep the conversation flowing. She asked about his method acting, his transformation for the role, and the emotional depth he brought to the character. Things seemed to settle, until she mentioned a recent viral video. "Sir Ben, there was a clip online where you walked out of an award ceremony after a joke made about your age. People wondered if you were offended or if it was staged." The air in the studio changed instantly. Ben's jaw tightened, and his eyes narrowed slightly. "Do you think it's appropriate, Lorraine, to bring up internet gossip during an interview about art?" he said coolly. Lorraine, taken aback, tried to diffuse the tension. "Oh, it's just that our viewers are curious." "Our viewers," Ben interrupted sharply, "should be curious about storytelling and craft, not about an actor's private reactions." There was a long pause. Lorraine blinked, smiled awkwardly, and glanced at the producer off camera. "Well, we do like to keep things real here," she said, still trying to maintain her trademark friendliness. "Real," Ben replied, leaning forward. "Then let's be real, shall we? I find it deeply disappointing that shows like this, which claim to celebrate cinema, often prefer gossip to genuine discussion." The crew froze. Lorraine's lips parted in surprise. "I'm sorry you feel that way, Sir Ben. We're just..." But before she could finish, Ben stood up, unhooked his microphone, and said, "No need for apologies. Let's not waste each other's time." Gasps echoed around the studio as he walked off stage, leaving Lorraine visibly shaken. She tried to laugh it off, but her hands trembled slightly. "Well, that was unexpected," she said, forcing a smile for the cameras. "We'll take a short break." The segment ended abruptly, cutting to commercials. Within minutes, clips of the incident flooded social media. Twitter lit up with divided reactions. Some defended Ben, saying he had every right to demand respect for his craft. Others accused him of arrogance and overreaction. "Sir Ben Kingsley needs to lighten up," one viewer tweeted. "Lorraine was just doing her job." Another wrote, "Good on Ben. Morning shows have turned art into tabloid chatter." By afternoon, #Ben Kingsley and #Lorraine Kelly were trending across the UK. ITV issued a short statement confirming that the interview had ended earlier than expected, and that they appreciate both Sir Ben's time and his contributions to film. Privately, sources from the production team revealed that Ben had been tense even before going live. He didn't want to talk about anything personal, one staff member shared. He made it clear, only the film. But Lorraine always tries to connect emotionally, that's her style. It just clashed. Later that evening, Ben's representatives released a short message to the press. Greater than, Sir Ben Kingsley believes in meaningful conversations about art and the human experience. He regrets that this morning's interview did not provide that opportunity. Lorraine, however, addressed it the next day on her show with her usual grace. "Sometimes interviews don't go as planned," she said. "Sir Ben is a brilliant actor, and I wish him nothing but success. We all have off days." Her calm, professional handling of the situation earned her praise from viewers who admired her composure under pressure. Meanwhile, Ben's new film saw a surprising spike in online searches and ticket pre-sales. The controversy had turned into free publicity, though not the kind he wanted. In the days that followed, entertainment journalists debated the moment endlessly. Was it a clash between old-school dignity and modern media's obsession with personality? Or was it simply two professionals misreading each other in real time? Whatever the answer, One thing was certain, that brief, fiery exchange between Ben Kingsley and Lorraine Kelly had entered the history books of live television. And somewhere, behind the cameras and headlines, both probably wished they could redo that morning, minus the clash that everyone now called the most uncomfortable 5 minutes in daytime TV. The following week, the entertainment world was still buzzing. Talk shows replayed the clip endlessly, Ben Kingsley walking off Lorraine mid-interview, Lorraine sitting there stunned but composed. The public couldn't stop talking. Everyone had an opinion, but no one really knew what had happened behind the scenes. What most people didn't see was what took place after the cameras stopped rolling. As Ben walked down the hallway toward the exit, a young assistant producer named Emily ran after him, clutching a clipboard. "Sir Ben, please wait, Lorraine didn't mean to upset you," she said, breathless. He stopped, turned, and for a moment, his stern expression softened. "It's not her fault," he said quietly. "It's the way these shows are built, all surface, no depth." Then he sighed, nodded politely, and left through the back entrance without another word. Back in the studio, Lorraine sat in silence during the ad break. Her producer leaned over and whispered, "Do you want to cut that part out before the replay?" Lorraine shook her head. "No," she said calmly. "Let it run. We're not pretending it didn't happen." When the show returned, she smiled at the camera and said, "Live television, folks, you never know what's going to happen. I still have great admiration for Sir Ben, and I hope we meet again under better circumstances." It was a classy move, one that won her even more respect from fans. But Ben wasn't done making headlines. The next evening, he appeared unexpectedly at a charity gala in London. During a short speech, he addressed the controversy, in his own poetic, unapologetic way. "Greater than art," he said, standing before a silent crowd, "is not about gossip or personality. It's about truth. And truth is not always comfortable. If we forget that, we lose the very soul of creativity." The audience erupted in applause. Even those who thought he'd overreacted couldn't deny the power of his words. Meanwhile, Lorraine's show saw a surge in viewership. The clip had gone global, even American outlets were covering the British TV clash of the year. People tuned in to see how she would respond, and to her credit, she never once badmouthed him. "He's a passionate man," she said. "That's what makes him a great actor." 2 weeks later, something unexpected happened. Lorraine received a handwritten letter delivered to the ITV office. The envelope bore a wax seal with the initials BK. Inside, the letter read, "Greater than, dear Lorraine. I wanted to write rather than call. Our conversation on your show was brief, perhaps too brief, but it revealed something valuable. I respect your work, your kindness, and your composure. I was ungracious in my exit, and for that, I sincerely apologize. Warm regards, Ben Kingsley." Lorraine smiled as she read it. "He didn't have to do that," she said to her producer. "That's class." She mentioned the letter the next morning during her show. "We all make mistakes," she told viewers. "What matters is how we handle them afterward." Sir Ben reached out privately, and that means more than any public statement. The comment melted the hearts of her audience, and even those who had criticized Ben began to soften. Soon, the same internet that had mocked him a week earlier was now praising the pair for their mutual respect. "Two professionals owning up and moving on, that's rare these days," one fan posted on X. Months later, during an award ceremony in London, fate brought them together again. Lorraine was presenting the Lifetime Achievement in Film award, and the winner, announced dramatically, was none other than Sir Ben Kingsley. When his name was called, the audience held its breath. Ben stood, elegant in his tuxedo, and walked to the stage. Lorraine smiled warmly, handing him the golden trophy. "No walkouts this time," she joked, lightly. He laughed, genuinely, "This time. No, Lorraine, only gratitude." The audience burst into laughter and applause. The tension of the past had vanished, replaced by mutual understanding and grace. Ben continued his speech, "This business thrives on stories, both on-screen and off. But sometimes, the real stories, the human ones, remind us why we create it all. Thank you, Lorraine, for that reminder." It was a full-circle moment. As the cameras captured them smiling side by side, the internet that had once fueled their feud now celebrated their reconciliation. The clip went viral again, but this time for all the right reasons. Lorraine later reflected, Sometimes clashes happen not because people dislike each other, but because they cared too much. Sir Ben and I just happened to care, live on TV. And so, what began as a public fallout ended as a lesson in grace, humility, and second chances, proving that even the most uncomfortable moments can turn into something beautiful when met with understanding. Both Ben Kingsley and Lorraine Kelly moved forward with renewed respect, and the world was reminded that behind every headline, there's a human story waiting to be told.